Hey guys, it's Gundam, and I'm actually going to do a follow-up to this because I just love this thing so much, as you can see. So just to kind of sum up everything that has been like keeping me awake this past night, this is the Good Smile DX Max Combined Gridman, and for all you who do know, it's a very fascinating figure. As you can see, it's I'm not even manhandling it that much. I'm literally just trying to mess with it, and I've heard other people saying just how solid this figure is, but I can't exactly demonstrate it that well because it just doesn't want to stay together on my part, at least. Yeah, so let me just go ahead and outline some of the main problems. First off, engineering is very bad. I have no idea what they were thinking with, I totally understand that if they want to make a figure that's, you know, more of an homage to older DX toys, but at a certain point in time, you must realize that we are in 2019, and, you know, some things just shouldn't be put backwards just for the sake of nostalgia. For example, this elbow joint is non-existent. There is no excuse why you can't slightly lift this out or pull, like, it shouldn't, or it should be able to collapse up. That way you can get a full 90 out of it, or at least some rotation. Also, I notice as I play with the figure more and more, sounds start coming out of the figure. For example, right here in the thighs, this thigh moves alright. This one is intensely scary to move because all of a sudden it just started being super tight, and I feel like at any moment it will snap, and I don't even know why. I haven't moved it at all, much to my dismay. Also, these knees, what happened with these knees? I have no idea. Why can't the bend be right here as well? Because there wouldn't be any point as to why that shouldn't be able to exist. No matter what, his arm, as you can see, that's another problem. The connection on the back of the bicep doesn't support this. If I haven't been like flipping it around or anything, that's another problem. Look at that, the hand just flew off. Like, this one is fine, it'll stay on. Like, it's not super solid, but this one is entirely just flying around. Also, this helmet, see those little tiny pegs right there? That's what's keeping the entire helmet together. It's so annoying to deal with that, especially when you have to transform them from different modes. There are so many things on here that they could have improved in terms of just fixing the figure. This could have been a good Gridman figure. They could have put torso articulation in there and just not have it be accessed in the full powered Gridman form. They could have put an additional knee joint. They could have put an ankle tilt. It only moves up and down, and it's also at a certain angle, as you guys may have noticed. It's also, I don't know, there's just a lot of things that are kind of weird on this figure. Like, I'm not too sure what exactly they wanted. Like, I don't even think they knew what they wanted out of this figure. There's that. Also, I've literally been trying to mess with Powered Zenon and make him more posable. There is a way you just unlock these, and then that way you get a little bit more articulation out of them. But that's the problem with that. This, I don't think there's much you could have done. Honestly, this part going up and down, that's kind of a cool, it's pretty good physical feedback in a sense. Like, when you pull it up, it feels nice and solid. But like I said, there's no articulation whatsoever. This is supposed to be the new thigh. This is supposed to be the knee for the Gridman. Also, why isn't there a tilt right here? It just goes up and down. This one in the back tilts. There's a ball joint. They could have put another joint higher up in the leg and made it so you could go side to side. Also, another thing, why are there seam lines on this kit? Or, it's not even a kit, it's a figure. It's like a $180 figure. MSRP is like $150, and there's seam lines like right down the middle of his foot. That should be non-existent. This, I understand this is Good Smile's first attempt at a figure like this, but think about it. They're charging a lot of money for a figure like this, and yet they can't even fix some of the QC issues. I know that there are other Gridmans out there that have problems as well. I don't know why mine has like 50 bajillion problems. For example, my favorite problem, this one. I don't know why, maybe it's mismolded or whatever, but for some reason, when I try to connect it onto the chest, it falls shorter than all the other ones that I've seen. It's actually supposed to be at this height and like flush with the top of it, but it actually falls down. Now you may think, oh, it must be secure because it's hooked in. I don't think so, because sometimes it'll just flop out like that. Like, I don't know why. Like, it's not really a solid, secure. It could have just been a peg, honestly. Like, why did they have to make it a hook? It's only kind of important, I guess. It's not even a very deep hook. It's a shallow hook. So ultimately, most of the time, it just falls off just by messing with, like, if you have it in full power gridman mode, he'll usually just, like, you'll accidentally just touch his chest, and then his chest will just fall down. I have no idea why. Like, for example, let me just put my finger on here. If I move my finger less than an inch up, not even less than an inch, less than a centimeter up, it'll just fall out. Like, I have no idea what they were thinking at that time. Now, like I said, this just might be my problem. I've been watching a ton of reviews. That hasn't been anything across the board. Everyone just seems to just snap it on there, done, doesn't fall off. The most annoying thing are the sky vitter parts, especially the helmet. This helmet is stupid. I don't know why it's so... It's a good design helmet. It looks very nice. I'm thankful none of the fins have broken off by the amount of times that it's fallen down. It doesn't really connect anywhere flush like how it's supposed to. Even right here. I'm doing this with one hand, by the way, which is why it's a little weird. Even by connecting it via here, the connection isn't super solid. Like, the peg is a little too shallow for my liking, so every time you really, like, touch it on accident, it'll just fly off, and it's like, I'm not too sure what they were going for right there. The connections could have been a lot thicker. It could have been something really solid. Everyone's saying that this figure is super solid. I beg to differ. Like, I just don't know how I feel about this figure. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here, like the paint, and especially this part in the chest that collapses in when Buster Board connects in there. But there's also a lot of dumb stuff. Like, I have no idea, especially with these shoulders, they could have just added an additional joint and made it so that Max Gridman has more articulation. It's like, I don't know, there's just so many things that are just kind of wonky, and I have no idea how else to explain it other than just they were trying to rush it, or I have no idea what else they were trying to do with it. But, like, I don't know, it just drives me nuts. It's been driving me nuts for the past day since I shot my review of it. But yeah, and the thing is, it's hard to really deal with it right now because, it's a newly released figure, so A, it's kind of hard to get replacement parts, and B, like, everyone else, like, I've heard of one that didn't even come with a drill. Like, why would it be missing it's a prominent piece of the figure? Like, there's only 2 drills in the whole figure. Oh, well, aside from the other ones, but I mean, like, how is it missing parts? Someone had one that was missing the stand. Like, what the heck? Like, I don't know. It bothers me so much because it's like, Good Smile is usually really on top of this kind of stuff, but at the same time, like, I'm not even sure how to explain this in a text format. Like, it's like, because usually they'll just tell you to send pictures and stuff, but I'm not sure how to explain. This joint is super tight. Look, I'm trying, and it feels so hard to push it, as opposed to this one, just swings that up. This one is entirely way too tight. Oh my gosh, and I can't even begin to explain my frustration with this figure. The equivalent is like if you went to a movie theater and you saw a bad movie and then you went and got a refund. Because honestly, it's not the movie theater's problem. So, for example, in this case, the store that you bought it from would be the movie theater, and the company that made the movie would be Good Smile. But, like, I don't know. There's so many weird engineering things, and it's just like, for a figure that came out in 2019, especially with all the other stuff that we have going on, like, it's very subpar. It reminds me a lot of Transformers Third Party when it just started out. And yeah, I mean, that's just my rant on this figure. Honestly, if I get replacement parts for this or find something to do with it, I'm really tempted to just cut it up, like, and just modify the hell out of it and just turn it into something else, because for now it's just not cutting it. So yeah, there is that, and yeah.